Oh, now I have to go to the website right now and just figure out what number this is. I can't remember. I think we either said 25 or 26 last time. I'm not 100% sure. Did you listen to the podcast last time?
The one I did?
Or the other one? Yeah.
I did.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Yes,
I did.
125. So, it's 126 today.
Aha.
Yes. Doing it. All right. Let's jump on this train. Everybody, and welcome to the Arrow of Time. My name is Matt, and here back with us is the fantastic guest, Rachel.
Hello. Thank you for having me back. I'm excited.
You're so good. You were a hit last time. So, yes, we're happy to have you back with us.
My ramblings.
Your ramblings and your passion of geekdom.
Yay.
Yes. It's all good here. All completely welcomed. So this is the episode 126, chugging through those episode lists. What? And did we hear a weird thing?
I just heard somebody talking.
Yes. You know what? So
was it an ad?
I'm on this website. I need to mute my computer.
This is so unprofessional.
So here's the thing. We are minus Gabe today. Gabe, at the last minute, got pulled away to do something else. So I'm kind of in the role of, at the last minute, looking up a bunch of stuff. And I don't know all of the great, fantastic websites that he has when he pulls up all this great knowledge and schools me on it. So I'm just kind of like looking everywhere.
In my 30 minutes of prep, I literally just was like, Wikipedia, help.
Oh,
help me, Wikipedia. And then even going through, I'm like, that's not actually right. Whatever, writing down.
Yes. Well, Gabe actually does like actual websites and like things that like you can get credible source material from. And he does some deep research. And I just do a Google search and like, what's on the first page?
Yeah.
So I was on this page, it's techtimes.com. And for some reason, when I'm on techtimes.com, there is a little voice advertising something.
I hate that.
And so, and I can't find it to stop it. Usually there's like
worst.
There's like a little video or at least like a little like play thing where like you could like stop and pause things that shouldn't be there, but yeah, nothing. So I have you just heard a weird guy talking. There you go. And I the thing too is I don't know exactly what he said.
I don't know either, so I hope it was clean.
I hope it was clean too, but or at least
I think we're doing a bad job of plugging Tech Talk or whatever the website is.
Tech Times, yeah. Tech Times. It was there. Tech Times was there for us when we needed Tech Times to be there.
Just fair warning about pop-up audio.
Yes. Unless you have some really impressive blockers,
or you're just one of those super, super more tech-savvy people than us that immediately knows exactly where to go and how to turn it off.
Yes.
It's to weed out the weaklings.
Matt Leska would not have this problem because he has so many blockers. So.
Oh, Matt. Other Matt, but oh, Matt.
Yes. I should get him on this podcast sometime. He'd be fun.
I'm not sure how much Who knowledge he has, but
I think he's had up to through Matt Smith.
Interesting.
And from Eccleston to Matt Smith. And this is a good segue into a little bit of news.
Oh.
Yes. That I wanted to jump into. Basically, last time we were kind of talking about Netflix canceling Hulu and Doctor Who and Hulu and all that. Well, it's like, now the aftermath of that. They've officially released, they've stopped, they've expired their Doctor Who's. Even on Hulu, which we thought that it was still going to continue on Hulu, but it's not. It's still on iTunes and Amazon and all those other things. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Google Play has it, but
probably Amazon. Yeah, Amazon too.
Yeah, Amazon. Matt was one who really enjoyed watching it on Netflix, and he didn't quite get it. I think he started in Capaldi era, but didn't quite get through. Like I think he started it and was like, I don't know about this guy. Which I think a lot of people were doing.
Yeah.
Especially, I was adamantly about sticking with Capaldi, and I think he more than paid off in the end.
No, yeah. He did a great job.
Yeah. But, yeah, he was just kind of mentioning that, well, now that it's not going to be on Netflix anymore, it's going to be, I don't know if...
I think it's going to hinder new fans.
Yeah.
Definitely, because now it's not a readily accessible thing. Even though you might have more news about that, the BBC saying that they're going to start their own streaming service or something like that.
Yes. And actually in this article from the Tech Times that I've muted my computer says that a BBC spokesperson told us that American Whovians will still be able to stream seasons 7 through 9. 7 through 9?
That's it? What about?
On bbcamerica.com, and that the series will still be available through Amazon Video, iTunes, Google Play, okay, and more VOD platforms. Do you know what VOD means? View on demand?
Probably view on demand.
Yeah.
Or video on demand.
Video on demand. Yeah.
Essentially paying for more things.
Pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
Yes. Wrote Decider, which is probably another website or article or yes. However, they added, we hope to announce a new digital partner for Doctor Who shortly. So the BBC is maybe looking to have like a specific either Doctor Who streaming or something that Doctor Who will be available on. I've heard rumors that there could be something like mainly for BBC. Like if you want BBC shows, here you go. Mm-hmm. Kind of like Hulu or Netflix, but it's specifically BBC. Or like HBO Go, I guess.
HBO, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I still think it's just probably it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt new membership, definitely, just because...
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, how many people have a Netflix account or a Hulu account? Like, millions of people do.
Yeah, so
how many of us have an HBO account? It's a much smaller number of people, and just because it's easy to justify the cost of Netflix and Hulu, just because it's like for what you get.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. But then it's like once you start being like, okay, well, you also need this additional service, and you also need this additional service. Like I started finally looking at it, I was like, oh yeah, I've got Netflix. Oh yeah, I've got Hulu. Oh yeah, I've got HBO now. Oh yeah, I've got Amazon Prime. And then you start looking at all of these and be like, how many more of these do I actually want to pay for? And if it's for just to watch one or two shows, like then it starts getting like, is this really worth it? So the cost is going to have to be low enough to make it worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I think about the things that I actually do watch on BBC, and it's like Doctor Who, and there's got to be something else. Sherlock.
I watch Doctor Who, Sherlock, Orphan Black, even though that's BBC America, Broadchurch.
Broadchurch, that's another one. Yes. Which did that go away too? Oh.
No, I thought we were getting a third season of Broadchurch. Wait.
Oh, so no, did that go away on Netflix?
I don't think it was ever. It never was. It ever?
I saw it on Netflix.
Okay, then I'm not sure.
The first 2 seasons were on Netflix last time I checked. Although
what about Downton Abbey? I know like they teamed up with PBS,
Yes,
But
yeah.
It's a BBC show, isn't it? Is it
I
not?
believe it's on. I feel like it should be on Hulu. I think that what they might have done is, and we'll answer that right now with the internet.
That's the internet.
Yes.
Because if it was one of those that where if this streaming service had all of those shows, but also, I mean, Doctor Who itself, I don't think is enough to entice people. But if you have the entirety of Doctor Who, and actually, no, here's the thing: you'd have to put the entirety of Doctor Who on this thing. By entirety, I mean from Hartnell on. If you did that, that would be amazing. But also, I mean, one of the next biggest shows from Britain in the U.S. is Downton Abbey. So
I've already I've gone as far as Downton and come up with nothing in the search.
Are you spelling it right?
Downton.
That's what I thought. All right.
Maybe it's on is there a PBS thing? No, we've taken a halt in Doctor Who to seek out Downton Abbey right now. Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
We got to get this taken care of.
It's not my phone. Sorry, I'm hearing something in the background.
Something is in the background. Could it really be something outside?
Potentially. These are really good mics.
These are great mics. They're picking up other people's conversations.
Oh, it is not BBC, or Downton is not BBC.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Or is ITV part of BBC? It is independent television, which is providing competition to BBC. Ooh. Okay, but anywho, so we won't have Downton Abbey on this BBC thing. End of story. So Doctor Who.
So Doctor Who, yes. So yeah, this is definitely gonna affect some viewings, and I'm just kind of worrying because a lot of people, who are interested started getting onto the Doctor Who with BBC or with Netflix
Because it was just so easy.
and yeah, it was also kind of in a point too where it wasn't super accessible originally. They've gotten better about getting episodes to us. Much better. It used to be 6 months apart.
Yeah.
We would get them in the early David Tennant era. Now that's not a problem anymore, but yeah, just the new viewers that they used to get, and a lot of them, they were really gearing things originally towards, Stephen Moffat, I believe, was really gearing towards the new American viewers, especially doing things like that is so.
Sorry, there's a ghost or something in here.
There are a lot of sounds. There's a ghost trying to be on this podcast right now. What do I think about Doctor Who?
It's the ghost of Moffat's show running past.
Oh.
Or Russell T.
Oh, Russell T. John Nathan Turner's ghost is in here right now going, don't you think there should be more question marks on everything? Oh, that's eerie. Yeah, it did seem like they were kind of, gearing up towards a lot of that.
Which, I mean, to its credit, look at how much the Doctor Who fan base grew during the time that it was on Netflix.
And I don't want to also be on this pedestal because I remember at the big changeover, when it was going from Matt Smith to Capaldi, and people were just in an uproar about Capaldi and saying I'm going to stop watching Doctor Who, and if they're going to make decisions like this, they're going to lose all of these viewers in America, and we really matter, and we make the show, and I was well, that's very nice, but this show was already really, really stable in Britain, and that's where it had its meat and potatoes of everything, and it survived for years and years and years and years and years on solely a British audience. And there's some Canadian and Australian, but I feel like they're kind of sister Brits.
Well, but here's the thing: is the biggest thing about American audience is the American commercial profit. Is apparently we buy merchandise way, way, way more than the British audience does.
Oh,
so
I won't doubt that.
That's where I'm getting get curious to see stuff.
Yeah,
if it has an impact on that.
Yeah, it seems right now I know the idea of wanting to have British shows streaming, having like an HBO Go is a very lovely thought, and it could make the BBC even more money, but
it also could hurt.
it could really hurt the viewing, especially that's how that's how we watch things over here now. I think that's how a lot of people watch things, and it's not affecting. The weird thing too is it's not affecting anybody in across the pond. Great
And
Britain.
on anything like for anything else, as well as HBO kind of learned with HBO Now, is that when you have it easily available, like when we had it on Netflix and Hulu, when it's just you can actually just watch it, is it really cuts down on illegal downloading of it.
Yeah.
So now I'm really curious to see when Who comes back. How bad is the illegal downloading going to be on this?
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, if not, how are we going to watch it? Like, do we pull it down to where we have to wait months and months after it's aired in another country to see it again?
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah, and really with me, they got me. I'm locked in. So I'll use Google Play. No, I won't use Google Play. Why would I do that? I'll use Amazon.
I'd probably use Amazon. iTunes has been a jerk recently, where they say, "Oh, buy a season pass for this season." Well, it's a season pass for half of a season, but you paid full price for it. So maybe I might endorse Amazon.
Yes.
Amazon, don't fail us now.
Yes, please. So I'll do those things where I'm buying current episodes, and I'll probably even do the thing of where I'm buying box sets.
Yeah.
So I like to do that. I need to buy the box set of 8.
They're so expensive.
Yeah, they're so expensive.
Well, and that's another question I'm curious. If we have to rely on using like services where we have to pay for season passes or anything like that, how is that going to cut down on the sale of the box sets? Because if I already own the whole thing digitally now,
Yeah.
I mean, while some people will be willing to do it, some people will be like, I don't need to buy it. Like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Tangible copy of it.
Right.
So, Doctor Who economics.
Doctor Who economics. Some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Supply, demand. Oh, macroeconomics from high school all over again.
We'll see what happens. I think that it's going to be a very interesting journey that we'll have. Also, here's also one of the things that kind of alarms me about at least keeping the attention span. I'm gonna give my people a slam and say I don't think we have the great attention spans, especially when it comes to TV shows.
We don't.
And so to take a television show off for a year without any way other than buying it, and people usually don't buy it unless they on these streaming sites unless they actually know that they like it. Where Netflix and Hulu was so great because you're just like, oh, okay, I already have.
Let's watch this episode.
All
yeah,
right.
this episode.
I've been hearing about this already. Okay, let's see what happens. And then they watch it and it's oh, I love this. Now I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
Now they have to actually go seek it out. So
It makes me super excited that like I have a good chunk of the DVDs
yeah.
plus Blu-rays.
Oh, another unfortunate thing is our friend Heather. Heather, she told me the other day that she was getting off work at the hospital, and she had a hankering. This was January 31st. She worked a hard shift at the hospital and was hankering for some Eccleston, as one does. And so she went to Netflix and it was all pulled and she was so devastated. She's like, I'm not going to be able to watch Christopher Eccleston. That's unfortunate. It's just like hitting people.
Yeah.
It's ruining lives right now. Where were you when Doctor Who was pulled from Netflix? On that tone.
On that note.
Yes. By the way, we got Lego Dimensions over there.
Yes.
And we do have the Doctor Who starter bit. I actually got the Back to the Future one, except that's like the expansion and not the starter. So I guess I have to kind of like hang out with that for a little bit until Marty McFly comes in as DeLorean in a couple days. But over there in the Doctor Who era, or area, I should say, we have all of the different doctors, and it's great because you can like die and then
time you die.
regenerate.
Yeah, I just bought Dimensions like a week and a half ago, and the Doctor Who kit was the one I bought with it also, the first expansion pack I bought on it. And that was my funnest part. It was just like, oh no, I fell off a cliff. Oh hey,
Yes.
I regenerated.
So it was really, really funny to see Christopher Eccleston at the Ninth Doctor riding around on K9 shooting things.
Well, see, mine was more because like, as I noticed with Dimensions, there's not enough room on those things, so I have to start kicking like things off. So instead, like my doctors are riding around in the Batmobile, and that was kind of fantastic.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's like the best of everything.
Yeah. Except the Batmobile is a lot harder to drive than K9, so I kept switching back and forth, be like, K9 is easier, and K9 blows stuff up, and I haven't upgraded the Batmobile yet to blow stuff up.
It seems like that would be like one of the first things that the
Right?
Batmobile does.
But it's the whole like, no, you have to earn enough points to like have it upgraded to like the version number Mach 2 essentially of the Batmobile, and then they give you instructions to take apart the Lego that you just built and like rebuild it. And
Really?
oh yeah, you haven't done that yet?
I have not done that
If you
yet.
go to upgrades,
Upgrades.
it's essentially then you can upgrade certain things on it, and once you upgrade to like the second version of it, then it comes with, so then like and you can do it on any vehicle, including like the TARDIS and stuff too. So the TARDIS, Batmobile, everything like that, is you upgrade it and it gives you more benefits, so you don't have to like knowing like, oh, okay, K9 can blow up all these silver things, but the TARDIS can blow up all of these gold things. Once you upgrade some of them, it's like they will do everything for you.
Yeah.
So
I also love how in the game you go into the TARDIS.
Yes.
And it, depending on which doctor you are, it has that particular doctor's theme playing, or the title sequence theme playing. And it has the TARDIS and what it looks
Yeah.
like. And I love how it still has the dialogue and stuff. It's so great. There's so much detail showed.
fun.
Yeah, it's so great. Yeah.
Bravo Lego team and Doctor Who team who let Lego do this, because
There's got to be a lot of people. Obviously, there's a lot of people working for Lego, but there's got to be a lot of people like going in and like focusing on things like this. That there's like they got the Doctor Who fanatics. They're like, do this Doctor Who part. They did to a T, and then
the attention to detail was amazing on it.
I mean, unless you got the same talented group of people who are just super fans of, because I feel like they're in making these things, you can always be good. Like you could be, a skilled designer, but there's that like extra bit of spark that you need to like make something really, really, really special. And I think that's what Lego has in its design. Like you could tell a super fan of Batman made Batman.
Oh yeah.
And, fans of Harry Potter made it. Wasn't just somebody who's like, oh, I'm really going to pay attention to the detail and then transpose it to the game.
There's just so many things in the background. Like I paused my Lego Dimensions because then I got Lego Avengers just came in, which is a little confusing because there was a couple years ago the Lego Marvel Avengers video game, which now the Lego Avengers video game is just mostly focusing on the Marvel Cinematic Universe storyline, as opposed to the other one was much more the comic books. This one is just pretty much follows through like Avengers 2, Captain America, Winter Soldier, blah, 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 blah. And just in some of the levels, like just the tiniest attention to details on the walls and everything like that are just like some inside jokes. And you're just sit there and I'm like, oh, dang, that's insane. I love it. And one of the levels was, I think it's at the beginning of Avengers, the old gym that Steve is in. Like one of the tiny little hidden things that you have to kind of like knock to get one of the mini kits or something like that is like the tiny little, and they're tiny around the room, but the Captain America wants you to buy bail bonds little posters. Yeah, like tiny things like that.
Oh, wow.
So, and then also in the, like going back to Dimensions and the Doctor Who stuff too, in the, what was it? Because in that one, it's also fun too, because the way you use the TARDIS is then you can go back in time from the same spot you were currently at to change stuff in the present. It got really complicated. Oh, you haven't played the level yet?
No. Okay.
But no, yeah. So it's essentially, it's like, oh, we're in the year 2016. I need something to get through this wall. Hold on, let me hop in the TARDIS, go back to 18 something, and fix something. So then you have to go back to the present, and it's crazy like that. But they go back to 18, whatever the year was with the ghosts and
from the Unquiet Dead.
Yes, was Unquiet Dead, and why am I? It's not Shakespeare.
It's
Dickens, Charles
yes.
Dickens. Yeah, like some of the things in the background are from that episode, and you're like, what?
18. Yeah, 18. No,
It's
okay.
like 1880, 60, 18, something 1800s.
Yes. Something 1800s. Yeah,
Yeah.
mid to late 1800s.
But yeah, and just in the background shot of that is just tiny little details from that episode. Like the there's like a newspaper that has for whatever the reading that they went to that Dickens was doing. Like
Yeah,
those are
yeah.
floating around in the background, and oh, so good.
That's so great. Yeah, I love that. So anyway, one of the things that I was going to mention was that so we have this really long gap of Doctor Who a whole year. Mm-hmm. But we do have a Christmas special that Moffat will write, and then it was also stated that, and I unfortunately do not have the source, other than Gabe telling me about it before he left. But I guess Moffat is planning on staying and writing the 2017 Christmas special.
Interesting.
So he'll write the 2016 Christmas special, then he'll do season 10, and then write the Christmas special that after season 10.
Potentially be a regeneration episode, another Christmas
It
regeneration.
could be, yeah. A whole like reset on everything. Or Gabe also kind of mentioned that right now he's, instead of what we got with RTD and Moffat, where RTD was like, okay, here's everything coming to a close. All right, Moffat, take it on. Moffat's actually kind of working with Chibnall to set things up. So as we are going in talking about today companions,
Eventually we'll get to companions.
eventually we'll get to companions, we promise.
I wrote notes and everything.
I know. Like, what do you think we could get for season 10? Because if Moffat's just gonna leave, are we going to get sad, mopey, no companion doctor like we did with David Tennant in his specials, or
Not.
would we bring in a one season companion like Martha
Or will he
Donna?
work with Chibnall to get essentially a companion that will bridge the regeneration?
Yes, I
Because
know.
as I was going back through my notes, again, I took notes. Not as extensive as I wished, but so going back and looking through the number of companions that were transition companions.
Right.
Like, there's a lot more
There-
than I realized. Like, pretty much maybe half, more than half. But a good chunk of especially the, actually, no, but all before, no, actually, yeah. Like, almost every single doctor had a bridged companion. They're,
Yes.
like, companions that came in right at the end before they changed and then, like, carried on through with them. And, like, oh, man, I could name them because I wrote them all down, too.
Oh, you could name them? That's
Well,
great.
so, yeah, because, like, so let's start on this. So,
Let's start.
Hartnell.
Yeah. Hartnell, yes.
Hartnell, you had Polly and Ben Jackson, which then they stuck through Troughton. Troughton had...
He actually had nobody.
Well, no, it's not necessarily.
Well, I mean, no,
For
I mean-
okay, well, because here's the thing: is like one of the no, he didn't, because
Yeah.
one of the thing it was really weird the way it was written. Like a lot of these people had like little asterisks next to him because they listed under Troughton, Brigadier Lefteridge Stewart, but they said he was part of the '83 special. So, but I think he just was working with Troughton in the episode. Anywho, skipped on. So maybe Troughton doesn't.
Yeah,
So-
I always feel like Brigadier is
Brigadier spanned a lot.
Brigadier. He never really took any adventures in the TARDIS. I don't think.
Well, so I had notes about that. So we'll come back to Brigadier later of
Yeah.
companions that weren't actually companions.
Yes.
Constants, but not companions.
Yeah.
So, but this was there. So, according to the official Wikipedia list of official
Because
Doctor
Joe
Who
Grant would
companions-
actually be the third Doctor.
So, according
is
to
Shaw.
the official list, then Brigadier was an actual companion, and they listed it as because like appearances with the Doctor and then appearances as a companion.
Yeah.
He was listed, but then so was also then they also had an asterisk for all of the unit guys like John Benton and Mike Yates were unit companions, but maybe not actually in the TARDIS. Anywho, so let me see. Then Pertwee, we got Sarah Jane Smith. And Sarah Jane Smith, of course, went over to Baker. Baker at the end had Adric and Tegan and Nisa.
He had quite the entourage of
He
people
did.
at the end. Yeah.
But Adric, Tegan, and Nisa carried on to Davidson. And then Davidson had Perry at the end. And Perry carried on to Colin Baker. And then Baker had Melanie Bush for a whole 2 serials. And then Melanie went on to McCoy just for a hot second. And then the line was broken.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then we had Eccleston, and Eccleston had Rose and Jack, and then Rose and Jack carried on. And then the line was broken. And then Smith had Clara, and Clara went on to Capaldi.
Nice.
And then we had no more companions because they all either were dead or dead.
Right.
Clara and Danny. And
Clara and Danny.
that's it.
Yeah.
And then there's the not companions of like Vastra, Jenny, Strax,
Right. River.
River. Well, see, they listed River as like Smith's companion just because she actually did shenanigans in the TARDIS.
Yeah, she did, but I don't know. I really.
But she wasn't
Yeah.
like an actual solid companion in the terms.
Yeah.
In the same way that Rory, Amy was. You also had then the side companions like Craig,
Yes.
Wilf.
Wilf.
Yeah. Who else did they have? The Tenant one had a lot of asterisks also of like pretty much all of his specials of like Astrid, Jackson Lake, Christina D'Souza, Adelaide Brooke. They were just one-off companions, but oh yeah, or Eccleston had Adam. Adam.
Adam.
Ugh, Adam.
I do not like the idea that Adam was technically considered a companion because he's been in the TARDIS, and like Brigadier hasn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like nah.
No.
That just is
This was Wikipedia's
Bumpkus.
list, so like
Yeah.
take that with a grain of salt.
Wikipedia's list. Yeah, so.
I only had 30 minutes to prep for this.
And I do know that there's like this kind of hard and fast rule of the companions. You consider them a companion if they've been in the TARDIS.
But then
that's
there's
we know
so
that
many
they're
people that
I'm-
can fall under too, because then you
Yeah.
also have technically, oh, she wasn't listed. What was her name? Because under Capaldi, all that they had listed was Clara, but technically, Danny went in the TARDIS, didn't he?
Danny did go in the
Danny was-
TARDIS,
and then
also
what's
that
her face?
that little girl.
Yes.
Is, who? Yes.
Don't remember her name, but no, she went on multiple adventures.
Yes, she was on at least 2 episodes in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
So whatever her name is, and she was nasty. She was a nasty little girl.
Nasty. She was just a kid who had attitude.
I was, yeah. She had a lot of. She was mean to people.
She was sassy.
She was sassy.
Courtney Woods.
Courtney Woods. There she goes. Courtney Woods.
What did we learn from Courtney? I don't know if I necessarily like kids in the TARDIS as companions. Well, it is.
What about Adric? Did you ever watch too much of Adric?
I did not.
He had a
I'm very
maths pin.
unfamiliar with Adric.
And Adric was one. He was a young lad.
Oh wait, no. I vaguely have seen. I'm not enough to be familiar with him, but I've seen little bits of Adric.
Yeah.
But okay.
Well,
He was like a smarty pants, wasn't he?
he did have a maths badge. He had a badge that was his thing, is that he could do maths really well.
I'm good at the maths.
Especially in E-Space. So that's where Edric was from.
Okay.
It was from E-Space.
Yes.
His whole thing was he was really, really great at maths. And he was able to, kind of get the Doctor out of some fixes using his knowledge. But he was also one of the ones who had an untimely demise, saving the Doctor and everyone and destroying several Cybermen. But I think he was he one of the first ones to actually, one of the first companions to bite it?
No, that was Katarina, who was in season 3 of Hartnell. She sacrificed herself by opening her airlock in order to save the others from the mad fugitive. She blew herself and the bad guy into the vacuum of space. And in the same serial, another temporary companion, Sarah Kingdom, was rapidly aged to dust by a time destructor. Dang.
Aged to dust.
Aged to dust. I have not gotten that far.
Wow. I have really got to hand it to you for like sitting down and watching all of these Hartnells.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
And then I feel bad because I stopped for a while just because I got all the way up to Susan leaving, and I haven't finished on because I know Ian and Barbara, who I adore, leave shortly after Susan.
See, when we did our tribute to all the Doctors leading up to the 50th, we definitely didn't watch all of Hartnell. We watched like an episode or two.
See, it's really hard.
Or like
because-
when I say episode or two,
serial. A serial.
yeah, a story or two. So
and it was really hard with him just because it's so hit or miss. Some of them fascinating, amazing, like I couldn't
Yeah.
wait to get through them. And then some were just like, this is still going. How many more in this serial? 5 more in this serial? Oh my god.
yeah, yeah.
But I do want to kind of segue though a little bit on that and just that look at where companions were originally and how they've changed over the years. So say, I mean, our very first
Absolutely.
companion was Susan. And Susan was a very, very whiny, helpless female. And even Barbara, to an extent, was too. Even though Barbara was the much more adult, Barbara was very just the motherly figure to Susan. And it was Ian, essentially, as Ian took charge. I mean, heck, if you watch original Hartnell, Ian is more like modern doctors than the doctor was at the time. Like, the doctor was
Right.
just this bumbling old guy who just kind of was like, oh, well, I guess we could go do that. And Ian's the one that's like, no, let's go find this thing. Hey, let's go do this. Hey, no, doctor, let's go do this. And Ian just changed from, well, I want to go home to Ian became just this charge gung-ho guy of like, yeah, let's go fight these guys. Doctor, let's go save these people. Doctor, we have to go do this and have to go do that.
Absolutely, yeah. He actually became, because I think when they originally made it, they couldn't have Hartnell doing all these actiony things,
yeah, of
and so
course.
that was Ian's job. And once the Troughton came on, he was able to do those actiony things.
Yeah.
So basically, Ian was the physical embodiment of what the modern doctor is, or what the doctor was after Hartnell.
But even then, like with Troughton, you had Jamie, and like Jamie was
Yeah.
also a lot more of the muscle.
Right.
Troughton was.
So,
And then we started getting into the age of just mostly females companions.
all right. Now, the doctor's never been muscly.
No. But
Yeah.
just like much more the
Other than
gung-ho.
Eccleston, yeah.
But I mean, of course, not like fist fighting.
Yeah.
And stuff, but much more into the doctor's the one that's always leading the charge.
Right. So that is a very, very interesting aspect of the companions, just kind of the whole arc and what their job originally was. Mm-hmm. And one thing that has changed, one significant thing, is that, especially more recently, is that the companions used to just kind of be these normal people that the doctor was like, oh yeah, you seem like you'd be great, come on and travel with me. And now there's like this bar set, like it has to be somebody special, and there has to be something like revolving around them that significantly
The
affects.
girl who waited.
Yeah.
The impossible girl. And honestly, I was thinking about that too, of just like, when did that start changing? Because even Rose was normal. Rose was
Right.
just average and Rose is awesome, but you know what I mean? Like, Rose was just the
She
average
was the girl in the
person.
shop, yeah.
Yeah, she was the girl in the shop. You even then had Martha. Martha was just the med student. You had then just Donna was just the wacky person. And honestly, like I started thinking about it, it started changing with Donna. Just because Donna and like the whole
Metacrisis.
yeah, with Metacrisis
Yeah.
Donna and like Donna became special, kind of started leading into it, but it really wasn't until Amy. And Amy's kind of the one that then started changing the whole, because then she was the girl who waited.
Yeah.
And the crack in the wall, and why did it get drawn to her, and the crack in the wall. And that crack in the wall went on for how many seasons? The crack in the wall keep coming back to us.
Well, it was through the entire Matt
Through-
Smith
yeah, all of it.
story. Yeah.
So-
But it didn't show up until. Well, it was the first thing that the 11th Doctor encountered in Series 5. That was the main plot in Series 5. Then 6 and 7A, it went away, and then it came back. No,
No, it came back even in Smith's regeneration with the crack.
So that was the very last thing. So I think it disappeared from
After-
Smith.
Was it Big Bang?
So yeah, Big Bang 2. That's when
Yeah.
they sort of solved it, and then it went away, and then was not addressed until the end of time. So I guess if you want to say that season 7 was strictly those two halves, like it started with Asylum of the Daleks and ended with Time of the Doctor, and that, because then there's like this whole 50th like series or whatever that is like you get with the 50th is from Night of the Doctor to the Matt Smith's Regeneration and Time of the Doctor. Mm-hmm. Although I also feel like Name of the Doctor should sort of be in there because it kind of ramps up into it. But what the hoozle?
I don't know. Again, I think we talked about it last time of like this whole, mostly with Clara's character, because Clara's really been, well, it started with Amy. Clara was like, or Amy and even Donna a little bit. It was just, Clara was really the impossible girl.
Right.
Was weirdly done. And I don't know if I like it. I kind of just liked it when it was a normal person, because essentially the role of the companion is that is the character that we as an audience are supposed to relate to the most, because that is the human companion that is going along on all of these crazy adventures. And so we're supposed to see ourselves and how we would react to going along through time and space with this insane madman, essentially.
Right.
Like that's the character we're drawn to, which is also why like they started becoming more, the most relatable characters are the ones that are the most human, like the ones that have families, have legitimate concerns about running away, have loved ones that care for them. It was a lot harder when it was like, you know, if it's just an orphan, you're just like, oh, it's an orphan. But it's the ones that it's like, no, I've got like with Rose is like her mom. Heck, I would count Jackie Tyler as a kind of companion, just because she was there so much. Actually, she was in the TARDIS a couple times.
Yes, she
twice.
She was at the end in Stolen Earth or
and
Journey's End.
She was also in Doomsday. Oh, Doomsday.
And and I know she did go in there inside when the TARDIS was grounded for Christmas Invasion.
Oh yeah.
But it was her tea that brought the Doctor back to life.
But anyway, but like back on the thing of just when you have the companions, what we're supposed to relate to more, and it's really hard when it just becomes this is the impossible girl of just the mystery person. Just
right.
Like, that's nice, but I like my grounded character a little bit more, which is why when it just went back to like, nope, she's a teacher who has this adorably awkward crush on this other teacher and stuff. It was easier to relate to Clara.
Yeah, definitely.
But then we also have the companions that we're speaking of the unusual type companions, River,
yes.
Where it's just somebody that is, again, not the sole predominant companion, if you will, like alpha companion.
Right.
But the woven throughout the story companions, like I love those too. Same with like, because Jack kind of was that as a way too.
He was.
Jack, I mean, he started out as a base companion, but then kind of just splintered off, got his own TV show and all that jazz. But then every time he come back in, he was still just a woven-in companion. Even Sarah Jane Smith, like even when she would pop back in at one time too, it's just not a predominant, but it's nice having that. But if you want one that's like, you know, interwoven into the actual plot, then are we going to get another River? So are we going to get an alpha and like a beta companion, essentially?
Yeah. Oh man,
I don't know.
There's so many options.
Mm-hmm. I know we really talked about last time is just like when the companions, if there's two companions, like be it a couple or just a nice balancing act, that it works very well.
It works so well, yeah. I really loved the Doctor and Amy and Rory.
Mm-hmm. And again, like we talked about it last time, like I wasn't too fond of Amy until Rory was a constant.
Yeah. And there's something that worked so well about it and really caught the attention of the, like the Supernatural fans. You know? Well, I call
Supernatural, again, it's essentially the power of 3. 3 is a very good number, especially when you're in stories. It is a nicer balance than 2. You can do better dichotomies, and you could just do better balances and chains and reactions when you have 3 people. Again, Supernatural, you've got Dean, Sam, and Cass.
Yeah.
And then Doctor Who, when we had just Amy, Rory, and the Doctor, like it just works really well. We had the Doctor, Rose, and Jack. Like we had, what other good like triple ones? Even when we have like Jenny, Strax, and Vastra.
Yeah.
There's another 3. Like it flows and it has a natural rhythm to it. So I would like to see us kind of go back towards having 2 companions.
Yeah.
And again, so last time, I miss a dude companion. Like, I miss dude companions.
Dude companions.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
I mean, it's still nice to have a chick, but it's just always, it needs to, I feel it's nicer having a dude that's actually like involved in some way with the main chick companion, just so people will stop shipping the Doctor with the main chick companion.
Yes.
Because no offense if you are a Capaldi Clara shipper, but why? And no.
Why?
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, but no.
I was watching some, fan vid. And yeah, it was basically like a love story between Capaldi and Clara, and like that's not what the relationship is, and that's what makes it so nice. So I guess
Which is why it was great when Danny was there. It's like, no, there you go.
so I guess that's one big thing that we can kind of put to bed is we really think that the relationship is best between the companion and Doctor when it's platonic.
Yeah. I mean, in some, again, as I'm just sitting here thinking, like the only time it ever actually kind of worked was Tennant and Rose.
Right. And for some reason, Tennant was the very like relationshipy Doctor where, him and Rose were like the item or the one that he really cared for, and, but with all these other companions, except for Donna.
Martha was then I love Martha. I still hate her first chunk of episodes where she's like, why isn't he in love with me?
Yes,
and I'm just like, no, shut up. Just be friends. It works so much better. Just be friends. So it's hard. Unless you have two actors that then the chemistry between the actors is really, really well done. It's going to be hard from this point out to ship the Doctor, essentially.
It is.
Without being like rude to Rose and River now.
Yeah, what are you going to do with Rose and River?
Yeah.
And we got a little bit of that in the Christmas special of of River just going out and having all these different husbands with the Doctor.
Yeah. Which it was like I remember watching that and I felt insulted. I was like, River. Sure.
Is this what you're doing?
River, that's rude. River, that's so rude.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's the problem when you have romance.
Will they, won't they? It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Are they going to hook up? Everything's just a soap opera. That's what it is.
It really is.
It goes back to that, to General Hospital.
I mean, even beyond that, it just goes back even to the oldest stories we have. The oldest stories we have essentially are usually just involve at least some type of romance and going back and finding your significant other, or even when you look at the entire point of the Odyssey was Odysseus trying to get home to his wife. That was the entire plot essentially of that story.
Yeah.
Was him just being like, war's over. I need to get home to my wife. Temptations. Nope, my wife. And like, I'll sleep with this witch lady on this island. Nope, but my wife. And all these things like that. So it's just also one of the most elemental things of any story is has to be a relationship. And in a lot of modern times now, it has to be a romance of sorts. And even when you try to not start them off in a romance, the more you go, it's just, again, the will they, won't theys, and will it evolve that way? I remember my roommate and I got hooked onto Sleepy Hollow, and what was very nice about Sleepy Hollow was for the first couple seasons, at the very least, it was very much like, nope, these two are just, they're really good friends, they're really good companions, and they're just a team. Yeah, and now it just is like, no, you two need to hook up already. Like, it's going. I imagine X-Files is kind of the same way. It's like, you guys are, like, you just work so well together that you just then want to see them happy with each other.
Well, also, I mean, they're prone to cast pretty people
of course.
on
and
these
you always
shows.
want to see pretty people with pretty people.
Yeah, so you're just like, okay, come on.
I mean, heck, look at Billie Piper. She was all set to leave after Eccleston, and she was like, someone was like, when she was at Gallifrey last year, they're like, so what made you stay? And or not last year, whatever year she was there. Anyway, they're like, what made you stay? And she was like, David Tennant. She's like, they cast David Tennant.
Like, okay.
Okay, I'll stay with this guy for a while. But yeah, so I liked Clara and Capaldi in that they had a good just friendship relationship. And I want to see that. And again, like, my favorite companion of all time is Donna. And Donna like Tenet were just strictly platonic.
Yeah,
Strictly like, you're not mating with me, sunshine. Like,
I love that.
I
yeah.
love that. And it just works so well because, well, it's like, yeah, someone needs to love the Doctor, but it's like someone can love the Doctor as like a BFF. And he needs that.
I think that's a great thing that was brought up by Missy that Moffat wrote about relationships. Time Lord relationships are not defined by being able to, reproduce with them. It's friendships are so much more important than the sexual interests of somebody.
And it's also especially when you have a human companion, it's just like, well, this is somebody that you really don't have much of a future with.
Yeah.
So it's hard and awkward to try and find a happy ending on that. River was one of the, again, exceptions just because River was technically not human.
Right.
So she had a bit more leeway in that, and there was a little bit more on that, which is why, even though her story is completely wrapped up now, it's, again, I don't want to see him jump into another relationship for a while.
But also the thing with River is we didn't really see too much of the Doctor, like if you take the Doctor and Rose.
Oh gosh.
And then
behind for so long.
Oh yeah. And then the Doctor with his wife, River Song. There wasn't that kind of same chemistry there.
No, there wasn't.
It was almost kind of like, well, okay, I'll marry you because I know I have to. Because
yeah, it was like there was general. The way that both Matt Smith and Capaldi played it off with River too is like there was great chemistry with them. Like they really did do a great job. It was much more the difference between, I guess you could say, like an old solid love and a fresh, hot, lusty heartache with Tennant and Rose.
Yeah.
Of that one was just especially just because like he got ripped away with her. With River, essentially, as the Doctor got to know her more, like he kind of knew more of what he was getting into. It that one was just going to be a not steady companion in his life.
Right.
But I don't know. Like I can argue on that too. It's just like he totally did love her, but I guess it was not the same way as Rose.
Well, dang, we're starting to go over now.
I'm sorry. Where were we supposed to go with this whole companion talk anyway?
Well, I don't know, just talking about what makes a good companion, but you know what? I feel like we can kind of finish this.
Yeah.
Well, I think this could be something that we can come back to.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of time, a lot of not episodes to talk about.
Yeah.
Now that we've kind of wrapped up that the love thing, I think that we should leave it there, and then I think that we should come back to this. And also that kind of
gives us time
that's well, yeah, kind of that. But then that also will ensure that you come back and do this again.
Let me tell you all of my feelings about all of these people.
Yes, because again, you're a great guest. Yay!
I just feel so bad that I have like very little knowledge about. I have like my notebook is full of 2 pages of people that I really don't know very much about.
We'll have to fix that.
I know. It's that's such a long list.
By the way, speaking of
I also
companions.
Sorry, continue on. I'm like making a mental note for next time. One of the things I really, really want to talk about is how women as companions have changed.
Oh yeah,
over the age of Doctor Who. That is a very long subject that I will put on the notes for next time.
Yeah, that'll be great. So when you last were here,
yes,
I let you borrow a McCoy episode.
You did.
Yes, Remembrance of the Daleks, where McCoy defeats all of the Daleks. It's one of the times where the Doctor destroys all of the Daleks and Davros. Destroys Davros. How many times has he destroyed?
Lord knows. There was a whole joke about how many lives does a Gallifreyan cat have, and it's just like, I feel like it's like, Davros, how many? Dear Lord, how many times are you going to come back, Davros?
Were you familiar with Ace before?
It's such a weird backwards way. My only familiarity with Ace was the actress whose name is eluding me right now.
Sophie Aldred.
Thank you. She was at Gallifrey. My second year? One of the years I went to Gallifrey, and there was an entire panel with all of the companions. First Gallifrey, so a couple years ago. And she talked a lot about just the show, especially because she's one of the, compared to some of the other people that were there, like the actress who played Joe Grant was there. The
Oh yes,
guy that played Jamie was there. Carol Ann Ford was there also. So you
Okay.
have the old school companions there, and then you had Sophie Aldridge was also there, and then on that same panel we also had Billy Piper and Arthur Darvill.
Yeah,
and
oh,
so
nice.
she was one of the nice, because she talked a lot, because she's one of the kind of the bridge companions, and that she is not one of these super old companions, but she was in the changeover era kind
Yeah.
of. And she talked a lot. She mostly went on and on and on about how her and Carol Ann Ford went on and on about, again, like the role of women on Doctor Who and how that changed, and like Ace was a little bit more of a stepping stone towards Rose versus Susan. I mean, between Susan and Rose, you had Ace, essentially, who was still...
Yeah.
She still had to get saved a lot in that episode, but she had, like, a baseball bat and stuff that she
and
would try to defend herself, but...
and her explosives.
Yeah.
backpack.
Oh, my gosh, her backpack explosives and her boombox. It was a very 80s episode.
Nitro 9,
oh, my
yeah.
God, it was a very 80s episode. Sorry, continue on what your question was.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna see like what your takeaway was from Ace, because, and again, she's one of those who she's very I don't want to say not special, but I mean she's not like
She's ordinary.
Yeah,
She was just an ordinary girl. And I don't know her backstory. I was trying to figure out her backstory of when exactly she was from, because in this episode, they went back to 1963, I believe.
right.
And so I was just very confused as to, like, I knew she was from the future. I wasn't sure what future she was from. Was she from the 80s? Was she from further than that?
I think she's from the 80s.
Okay.
And because they do go back to, like, you know, the present day episodes, and she has friends and I have schoolmates and all that, but
Where are her parents? Are her parents not noticing that, like, she disappeared? Sorry, that's one of my biggest pet peeves on Doctor Who is, like, you have these people that literally just disappear for a time and nobody notices.
now I
I know we're going
want to
over. That's
say
for next time too.
I want to say, and I'm not 100% sure, and I should be, but I want to say that she might have been like
One of the orphan tropes.
like an orphan, yeah.
Let's see.
But I know that she was kind of a like a street kid.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
totally like. She acted very big and tough.
She was like a street kid that somehow got to a planet in space and was hanging out there as a waitress.
She was working as a waitress in a frozen food retail complex of Ice World on the planet Svartos. What?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
she's not from Earth?
No, she is from
Oh,
Earth.
wait, what?
But somehow she got
Been
there, and that's what.
expelled from school for blowing up the art room as a quote-unquote creative statement. Gifted in chemistry. She was in her room experimenting with the extraction of nitroglycerin from gelignite when a time storm swept her up and... What? I
Yeah.
need to watch this episode.
No, that's just a backstory. That doesn't actually happen. You meet her in, and if you'd like to borrow it, I can actually show you a very
Okay.
interesting handoff between.
Oh, she had a bad relationship with her mother, Audrey. What? And the racism-motivated Molotov cocktail firebombing of her friend Manisha's... What? This is ridiculous. This is a wild ride from start to finish.
Oh yeah. But her first episode is Dragonfire.
Yes.
And where she's on that, the doctor just finds her there. So
Oh, we don't even get to see this whole... It's
No,
just
no, yeah, she's
expletive-
like-
Or not expletive. It's a exposition.
exposition, yeah. I think she might kind of talk about it. But she's just somebody that they meet, Mel, and
that's the episode
Dr.
that Mel leaves, correct?
Yeah, and here's another like thing that's changed is that there's a huge deal over the companions leaving. Where
Yes.
in Dragonfire, it was Mel going like, you know what, I don't think I want to travel with you anymore, so I'm
I'm done. Okay, bye.
And so he just kind of takes on Ace. He's like, hey, you want to
Oh, yeah.
come out?
Hey, you. Come here.
Yeah. What do you
Good?
think?
Hey, come here.
You want to do this? All right, awesome. So now where it's like
companion leaves.
a
It's a
companion
heartbreak.
leaves. It's a heartbreak, and there's no companion
Uh-huh.
for a while, and then we that's the whole like speculation thing. Oh, who's going to be the next companion?
And also with a lot of our newer companions, it's like they don't choose to. Well, I mean, that's not a new thing. I mean, he did that with Susan, like where he just left Susan. But a lot of the companions don't leave willingly.
Yeah.
Rose gets stuck in an alternate universe, I mean, comes back, but then goes back to the alternate universe. Martha left it for her vacation. Donna got her memory wiped. Amy and Rory essentially died. Clara died, kind of, sort of, but is off traveling with the Shilder, who, let's not bring her back, pretty please. Make her go finish Game of Thrones. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd be, whatever. But, like, and even, like, very few of the more modern companions leave on their own choice.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, that's interesting.
Awesome. Well, I definitely would love to get back to this.
No, yes, definitely.
with
And
you.
I'm going to try and do a little bit more homework. I
yeah.
actually want to go see Ian and Barbara leaving. It's like, I think I'm a couple serials away from that.
Yes.
Just to
Yes.
see how that one goes. Because, I mean, Susan got left. So, I want to see how Ian and Barbara leave. I'll do more homework.
It'll be great. It'll be a grand time. That about does it for this episode. Yeah.
To be continued.
To be continued. Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
Maybe next time let's not talk about Legos for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And mystery noises of the house.
Those are all those little perks that just are so special. So
So do we have a Hootube, Matt?
Yeah.
we have a sort of Hootube.
Oh, no.
So this Hootube is from our very own Legs Nose Robinson. Legs Nose Robinson is a Trock band that was so gracious enough to do our theme song. So if you like our theme song, you'll love Legs Nose Robinson and all their other works. So you can just go right to their page, legsnoserobinson.com. But speaking of companions, they have a video out called Clara, a Pretty Woman parody tribute for Miss Oswald by Legs Nose Robinson. I would say to call this a parody would be almost a bit vulgar, because what they've done is they've taken Pretty Woman and basically have
The song or the movie?
the song.
Okay.
Also because it's referenced it to in the TV show. You know that TV show we've been talking about? It's referenced in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I believe specifically it's in the top of season 9, where
Capaldi's
Capaldi's the magician's apprentice, where he's playing the
Yes.
guitar, and he starts playing Pretty Woman.
Gotcha.
When he sees Clara, they basically did a cover of Pretty Woman, like in their own fantastic style,
Nice.
and then did a parody, because it's not like a straight like parody where Weird Al might do the song to a T.
No, yeah.
Like, this is how you remember hearing the
It's
song.
an homage to Pretty Woman.
Yeah, it's an
done in the
homage
style
to, yes,
of-
and it's not about like sandwiches. They
Yeah.
changed it, and that's the thing is to call it a parody or a spoof. Like, I always think that the initial goal of that is to do is to make a joke, and this
tribute.
is super like a super tribute. Now, they also did previously one of their big kind of breakout things that got a lot of notation, a lot of press around, was when they did Missy, a parody of Hey Mickey, but again did it in their own music style, but did the song, and then I would say that's almost kind of like a more of the parody. It was a little bit more jokey. But it was so good. It was done so well. So they come back at it with Pretty Woman, but there's just so much meaning in it and references to what Capaldi was playing. It's just very, very hard for me to go like, this is a parody, when it's just it's so beautiful and so artistically done, and it's just really, really great. These guys are really talented. Check out Legs Nose Robinson with that video. You will not be sad. Check that out, definitely. You will also probably notice, you would notice that usually our normal header at the beginning, which is a recording of me going, hello everybody, you're listening to The Arrow of Time on Musings of a Geek Podcast Network. Did not happen this time. Oh, yes.
Pourquoi?
Exactly. This is why you're here, to ask the important questions, Rachel. So thank you for being here. Musings of a Geek Podcast Network has folded. So it is now disbanded. the website has been taken down, and it's just kind of it does what I guess a podcast network does when it folds. Is it just puts all these podcasts out in e-space, just floating out there in the nethers. So yes, we are no longer under the umbrella of a network, so we're just on our own now. You know, that's how we started networkless, and we'll survive just nicely. There's no more of that, no more musings of a geek. But it'll be fine. It is fine.
There's
Everything.
a Shakespeare quote that is eluding me right now. But all right. I'm not even going to try it.
All right. But yeah. So don't go check out anything. Go check out. I would like actually to get back at just to start plugging Legs Nose Robinson more, because they need to be plugged.
Yeah.
Oh, and with that, I will say this has been this episode of the Arrow of Time. You are looking around the room.
It's something weird, and I thought there was something in the room.
Oh.
Sorry.
I have a Chewbacca cup.
Oh, it wasn't the Chewy cup. It was the thing
Okay.
that's on the floor. Anyways, continue.
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
Nice. So with that said, this has been this episode of the Arrow of Time. I have been Matt,
I have been Rachel.
and this has been the Arrow of Time.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Oh well, we had a Hootube for the on the Arrow Time, the one I just recorded last night, but nobody was there to say it. Well, Rachel was there, but she didn't say
Clip
it.
that and drop it in that.
Yes.
Nice.
All right. Well, thanks, Gabe.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.